Hey everybody, it's Mark T, and it's time for a new episode of Anime Talk. I realize I haven't finished Boku no Hero Academia reviews. I apologize. I have no excuse. I've just been really lazy lately. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm getting back to making videos occasionally, so that's what I'm doing. And today's an episode of Anime Talk. Pretty big guess on what it is, but today I am reviewing the anime series Re:Zero. Yeah, I realize basically everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people have very much talked about it, reviewed each episode, and, it can be a bit overwhelming to know. It is a 25 episode anime series, and I just finished watching it, literally just this second. So I want to give my thoughts. First off, just talking about things in general, the series is quite amazing, in my opinion. Now don't get me wrong, there are a lot of tropes within this series, but every part of this series, I feel there's always something interesting going on. We have our main character, Subaru, who is basically a classic otaku guy. We have his main love interest, Emilia-san. By the way, there may be spoilers in this review, I'm not quite sure. And then there are other characters, like the two maids, Ram and Rem, who are sisters with pink and blue hair. And then there's a lot of other characters that I will get into gradually. That series essentially focuses on Subaru getting transported to a new world. Basically very cliche in that sense. Nothing new, really. Where how do I put it? He basically is like from the real world. So he feels like every single cliche that happens in those kinds of mangas and animes, like in Konosuba. Like he's gonna run into a cute girl that's gonna be his main love interest and help him out through everything and stuff. And it does not go that way at all, because his first experience he ends up running into a few robbers that try to rob him, and we meet probably the first girl that's introduced in the series, who is Felt, who is a female thief / potential royal family, or potential royalty. I'll get into that later as well. And basically nothing goes his way. He gets beat up by robbers and other stuff, and things go on, but eventually gets saved by his main love interest, Emilia, who is a half-elf. Sorry, lighting's kind of off. Who is a half-elf, and she saves the day with her little spirit buddy, Puck, and things go well from there. They become friends, and we find out, basically, she's trying to find something, Subaru helps her find it, and all that other crazy hijinks happen. Sorry, I just don't really want to spend this entire review talking about the entire plot. But that's really just part of like the first few episodes. Another thing I really like with the series is that they take their time, like putting the plot through. It's not all just rush. Like the first arc is just basically just 2-3 episodes, which in a sense technically is, but it's very different in that sense. Anyways, eventually in the first episode, we do see that our main man Subaru has a bit of a gift, or possibly a curse, because he can come back from the dead while still remembering all of the things that happened in past lives. However, those things are reset once again. Unless he gets into, unless he reaches a save state where things essentially just get better from that point on, and yada yada. Throughout most of the series, we are introduced to other characters aside from the ones that I mentioned earlier. Like my favorite character in the series, Wilhelm, who is by far the most badass swordsman I've ever seen. Maybe there are more badass swordsmen later, but Guts, Kirito, Kenshin, you got nothing on. You got nothing on Wilhelm. Anyways, the series essentially, it builds up to this as its main plot. There are 5 or 6 royal princesses, as they are, and basically there's this big, how do I put it? It's kind of like a vote voting type thing, where basically one of them is eventually chosen to rule the entire country so that things can get good and happy and good once again. Although we find out very early on that Emilia has a bit of a problem. For being a half-elf, she is constantly thought of by a lot of people that she's related to this very evil half-elf that's simply called the Witch. She has some other name that I actually can't remember. And, you know, just trouble comes from there. There's racism and other things within that. It's just, it's hard to put. There's so much to say in this series, but I'm not going to get that deep into the plot anyways. One of my favorite things about this anime, in particular, is the fact that it makes you feel things. And I mean that in a very genuine sense. You might think I'm wrong. You might have watched this anime and say, hey, this anime doesn't give me any feelings at all. But this anime gave me the feels. If you've ever watched an anime, like, example, maybe, High School DxD. I know, very pervy and stuff, but like a rage-filled moment with Issei. It basically makes you feel that way. And you might think I'm just going into major otaku mode, but the reality is I do feel these things. I even wanted to stop watching the series because it made me feel so much anger or sadness or hatred. The only thing I don't majorly feel from this series is happiness, but you know what? Nah. My point is, the series helps you relate to its characters. It helps you relate to their problems, to the difficulties, to the sad moments, and the bad moments that happen in their experiences, particularly because Subaru constantly has to live through the terrible moments of his life over and over and over again, and it's just one very difficult thing to experience, especially if you're not used to generally darker moments like I am. But either way, that's probably my favorite part of this anime. It makes you feel. It gives you the feels. You feel sad, you feel happy, you feel angry, and that's the thing that I honestly think makes this anime different from the rest. Now, of course, my audience may not feel the exact same way, and if you feel a different way, please leave that in the comments, if anyone feels like they want to comment. And that's pretty much it. Sorry I didn't go into much explanation on the plot, but to be honest, there's 25 episodes of things to basically cram into a from this moment, 7 minute and 30 seconds review. So, I can't talk about everything. But yeah, if you like fantasy series and things going a little against the status quo, but also having a lot of general tropes in it, I think you might like this series. Anyways, that's all for now. I got some superhero reviews to work on. See you later.